Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the E30 N54 swap behind me. Welcome to the channel. My name is Frank Macaluso from Garageaholic, and today we're going to be doing part 2 of the engine bay restoration. We're going to be working on the sway bar mounts. We'll be welding them up, welding up the front subframe and beefing that up. I'm going to be finishing up the DME install in the electronics compartment, guys. Good stuff, guys. You don't want to miss it. Thanks. So what I did here on this is I actually just welded it all up and finalized its location and installation and kind of put a couple finishing touches on it before I start doing a lot of the seam sealing and pour 15ing and stuff like that that's required. I decided not to close this off because I wanted to see if maybe I can snake some wires through that because this is actually really tight in here. Let's take a look at the DME real quick. I'm actually not going to be using this anymore because it actually is a little bit too big in that compartment, and that is primarily governed by the width between the shock tower and the back of the firewall, and this guy was just too big, and if I had it in there it wouldn't really be able to fit anything else inside this bay. So the idea here is that I get this guy installed just like that. So I'm going to end up using some metal bracing with some isolating materials like nylon and rubber grommeting in order to suspend this, but allow it to easily be removable so you can take it out, swap it, tune it, whatever you want to do. We also need to drill all of the additional rivet holes and locations for the top. All right, so that's pretty easy. That's as easy as just marking all the holes, drilling, putting a rivet nut in there, and then you can put that in all of the hardware on then. We're gonna end up putting rubber grommeting around the complete perimeter of this so that it does seal it up really nice and prevent any type of water ingress into the bay. When we finish that, we'll take a look at the rest of the front engine bay. We're gonna be drilling out all this other stuff here to help give it more of a shaved, succinct look. It's not going to be completely shaved. I've seen some really, really crazy shaved engine bays, but this is not going to be that. But it will have very, very few frills, if you will, in terms of, you know, other things in the compartment. So let's get on with it, shall we? This is a DME. It's an MSD80, so I don't really care about it because I got an MSD81 already. Anyway, this is going to be used as mock. The height of this DME is about 2 1/4 inches tall. I have a bracket here that has already a weld hole located here. That's about 1 1/2. Let me show you here what I want to do. This guy will end up getting mounted right down there. The DME will end up sitting right on top of it, just like that. And then as you push it down, there'll be some additional hardware down here and on the other corner that will actually clip it in. So it won't go up or down, it won't go forward or back, and it's not gonna go like this. So this is actually gonna be pretty secure when it's done, and in its location, there's plenty of room to remove and install the special Siemens connectors for the DME, and there might even be some location here for the relay. And a positive battery terminal and all that other good stuff, a ground terminal, all that stuff will all end up going in here as well. It'll be tight, but it'll work. All right, so as it stands now, I've got the couple brackets down below and then one alignment bracket up above. They will both be insulated with a sticky pad foam material. But anyway, the idea is that it comes in like that and it sits in this guide, and it's going to end up, that's the thing, I don't know how to keep it in place. So how am I going to make sure that this thing stays nice and steady and it doesn't move on me? And I think I got an idea. So I need to have another bracket down below. That's gonna be one of these guys, another one. Same height as the one that's there. And that's gonna end up going right here like this. Hold on, just like that, right? So it's gonna sit on that bracket. And then I'm going to take this apart. I'm gonna cut these little clips here. These little clips, I'm gonna cut them off. I'm gonna slice it down like this, cut them off, and then I'm going to append it to these with height adjustables. They're basically slots, so they're height adjustable. And that is going to dictate when I'm basically going to push the DME in like this, right? So it's gonna come in at an angle, right? And then you push down and it clicks in place on either side, that side and then that side. Those nylon rubber, the nylon plastic clips are just gonna end up clipping it all into place. So that's the plan there. And let's go into a long time lapse and see how I get it to work. So actually, I like it a lot. The only problem is over here, I can't get the other winglet in there. So I might have to make a little bit of clearance on the other side in order to get this guy in there. Or maybe in here. I think I'd rather just do here though. I think it'll be a little bit easier. But overall, if I were to hold this in place, it actually is pretty good. And then you just open that up, lift up, and then you can take it out, and this is what it looks like. Obviously, there's a little bit more bracing that needs to be done here, but if I can get this guy in there, I might be in good shape. In fact, I think the only way to really do that might be to weld a nut here and then just screw the nut on. But I have to make sure, because this one is height adjustable, this one will not be height adjustable, so I just have to be careful. I might have to drill another hole here and make a slot out of this. That way I can bring this up and down as I need to in order to get the perfect height to get it really sitting in good. So let's take a look and figure out what that height might need to be in order to really hold this in place, drill another hole, slot it, weld a nut there, and then be good. So yes, I understand that there is cleanup that needs to be done here, but I got both of these guys installed, and let's just see what happens. First time install, guys, first time. Okay, got that in, got the slid, got one, and two. Let's see. It's a little loose, and the reason I think is because I just don't have any rubber, foam insulation here. I need that foam insulation here. Wrap that around, and it'll really help have this sit nice and cozy inside of here. But I mean, other than that, let's see if I can get it out. Enough room out there, good. Bring it up, this guy, bring it up, and it's out. So I think this is a really good solution. I need to clean up this little area here. Obviously, I need to clean up the entire floor. I need to weld it all up, seam seal it. Obviously, I said that like a million times. But yeah, this is good, man. This is good. Just clean it up now. So let's clean it up and let's drill all these and tap for those. And I think I'm in really good shape with the electronics bag. Let's try another install. Got that in, and got it. Cool. All right, now it's time to start drilling these holes and get these rivet nuts installed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more to do. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rivet nuts. The idea is that you drill the first hole through into the actual box with the same exact size drill bit. Right, that positions the hole exactly where it needs to be, because I do have these guys screwed on tight, so this isn't moving anywhere. In fact, this is going to be the only location that it can actually be installed. So all these holes are then going to line up. When I do that, then I remove these screws, take the cover off, and then drill the lower holes that I just drilled to a wider diameter that allows these guys to fit inside. Then I use the rivet nut tool to expand them and set them in place, and then all the screws have a place to live. And that is the idea here. So let's move on with that. Here you go. Like I said, that one there is a hex head. And then all this will be cleaned up, it'll all be painted, it'll all be shaved. But yeah, I mean, this is basically the idea. So the DME is gonna be in here, it's gonna be secure. And we're gonna make some holes here for pass-throughs to the electronics, and I might actually do an E-fan. I'm not sure, because I do know that I'm gonna need some cooling in here. But the battery wire is gonna end up, I think the battery wire is actually gonna be coming in and sneaking in through the actual hole that I already have there. I don't think I wanna make anything new there. But this is the only piece of hardware that I really need in this corner. I don't have any more left. This will end up getting painted. I think it'll look really nice. And now let's move on to the subframe here. So the idea with the subframe is to strengthen the connection points between the actual subframe and the new subframe that I made. So I have some actually I think this is 3/16 steel, and I want to make some additional bracing locations here, and then in here, and then weld all this up, weld all these guys up, and then finish it. And then I'll do the sway bar as well. But for now, I want to make sure that I get the pieces of metal cut that is going to really make this a nice streamlined piece. Same thing over here as well. But yeah, this definitely needs to be welded up and completed. And then I'm going to remove it. I'll do suspension. All right, stop telling you what I'm going to end up doing, but I'm going to do it all, right? So let's focus on the subframe now and finish that up. Okay, now we've got just about all the pieces that we need. I've created 2 pieces for each side. For example, this guy sits right in this groove. This one here goes underneath, and it's going to end up curving around. So all this is going to be welded under here. This is going to be cut off and shaved. All this is going to be welded. We're going to also add gusseting here on the other side as well. And that should basically be it. We gotta also weld all this up. But once I get these bracing pieces in order here and weld it up, then I can basically take the entire subframe off and then weld it on the bench. But you have to be really careful when you weld something like this on a bench, because if you weld too much in one location, it's going to warp the piece and then it won't reinstall back onto the frame rails of the E30 very easily without stretching it. So you just have to be really careful how much heat you induce into this part before you do the reinstallation. My recommendation is to do just a couple of different tacks every which way until you completely fill in all the gaps that you need for welding. That way, everything expands and contracts at a relatively even rate, and you can reinstall without any problem, and you have pretty close alignment. Rough welding on each side shows that the puzzle pieces fit pretty well together. I ended up welding a little bit on each of the seams of the subframe and on each side as well. So I think that this subframe is pretty well set in place. Now I want to remove it, and I want to weld it up and smooth it out and basically get this completely done. So I want to remove it. So we have to take off the control arms. We're going to need to, actually I think it's just the control arms that we need to remove, and then the subframe should just come right on off. So that's good. So let's do that. So subframe is basically completely done, and let's lay a couple coats of paint on it. I got some Pour 15. It's silver Pour 15, so it'll look really nice on this. Anything that we need to seam seal, we'll seam seal, but I want to lay the coat of paint on it and brush it on and see how everything looks, and then we'll go from there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the results. I mean, this is going to be really strong. It's going to be stronger than stock, which is nice. And it's definitely going to be able to handle the horsepower that we give it. So let's just throw a coat of paint on this thing and see how it looks. So here it is, painted in the Pour 15 silver. It's very metallic-y paint. It's got a lot of metal flakes in it, which I think makes it different than the black that I used on the 8 series. In fact, it's different in a lot of ways. It has a different consistency. It coats differently. It's a little thinner. So it definitely has a different feel to it. But overall, I'm actually, it's okay. It's not bad. I mean, it's all right. It doesn't... The sway bar mounts have been completely beefed up and are welded up and good to go. I need to seam seal it, but before I do that, I want to also remove all of these pieces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and smooth out these spot welds, and then continue to move forward with shaving the engine bay. Now, I'm not going to be doing a full-on shave of the engine bay like you've seen before, but I am going to end up getting rid of a lot of the holes that you see, just so the engine bay looks a lot cleaner. And for an N54 swapped E30, it's going to be a pretty clean engine bay. So that's the goal that I'm going for here on this. So let's continue to shave through some of this and thin everything up and make it nice and clean. Guys, that is it for me today. We did a lot in the engine bay, and we're gonna continue on that with the next episode, continuing to shave the engine bay, and we're gonna work on getting the battery cable routed through from the back all the way to the front. We're working on the fuel filter and the fuel regulator and mounting that as well before we do any type of painting or, you know, detail work on the engine bay. I want to continue to finish welding up everything and all the brackets that are needed to install everything we need before we start reinstalling the engine and getting through to the next big step of the swap. Guys, my name is Frank Macaluso. Thank you so much for watching, and we're just, I don't know, probably about 10 episodes away from not just getting a first start, but also getting a first drive, which is pretty cool. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys as we close in on April and start working to the goals that I have set forth in May, including the E30 N54 Integrators Guide. Guys, I have a lot of people who have been asking about this guide, and you have to be patient because I can't get the guide released until I finish the swap upon which it is designed to hold up. So I can't do that until I finish the actual, you know, swap. So a lot of good stuff coming up, guys, with that, and as long as you guys stay informed and educated on how to do this swap, that is the only thing that is important to me. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Take it easy, and until the next time. Later.